Welcome to LOA Today. Walt Thiessen and life coach Patty Framo here. Today is Monday, November the 19th, 2018. It is 4 p.m. New York time, 1 p.m. Los Angeles time. That makes it 9 p.m. London time and 8 a.m. Sydney, Australia time. So we cover the globe that way. And we're off to another exciting start with this week. We had interesting thing happened this morning, Patty. Louis DeFramo, yeah. Oh boy, let's just confuse everybody here. Louis D'Souza. Yeah, Louis D'Souza unfortunately had to beg out of this morning's podcast. And so I was basically left with, well, the show has to go on, right? So I ended up going on to the Facebook Law of Attraction Changed My Life group, started the podcast, and made it like open question and answer period. And it was great. We had people showing up, people were asking questions, sharing ideas. It was fun. So
that is so cool.
Isn't that great? I mean, it was not what I expected.
Maybe we should try that.
We should, yeah.
I mean, kind of like that.
It was great.
Spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It was fun.
Really cool. What kind of questions were they asking?
Oh, all over the board. Health questions. One person from Pakistan was talking about how she had toxic people in her family and her life and how it was upsetting her. And another person was talking about wanting to manifest a move from Trinidad to Canada. And I mean, just all over the place. Really interesting questions all over the place. But it was fun.
Cool.
And got good reactions too, which was even better. And we had, I was really surprised too. I don't know, maybe opening it up made the difference, but we had a lot more live eyes, so to speak. You know, you can tell how many people are actually physically watching at any given time, and we had more than we normally get. So I think people are looking to be engaged, which is a good thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really like that idea.
Yeah.
Cool.
So how you doing? How's your week been?
It's been good. I actually just this morning had a woman come by, and she's going to be my new roommate, my new renter for my place.
Fantastic.
So yeah. So I've been looking for somebody for about a month or so, and she just seems like a really good fit. So I'm excited.
That's terrific. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. And we have, you've brought in another member of your meetup group, I guess. And first of all, we want to thank her for coming on to do this.
Hold on. Trains. I'm going to go close the door.
Trains, okay.
I'll be right back.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll introduce her and welcome her on the show. So Judy is a member of Patty's group and is, I guess, has been interested in getting some live coaching done. And Judy, I just want to thank you for coming onto the program today. First of all, hello. How are you doing today?
Hello. I'm so glad to be here. And I want to thank you for doing this coaching session.
Oh, glad to have you. Thank you for volunteering to do it. And I'm going to mostly sit out because I did my stuff this morning. So I mean, Patty's the professional life coach, so I like to let her do her stuff because she's better at it than I am.
Oh, you're great. I love your input, Paul. You do. You have excellent input. You go ahead and input whenever you want.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But nevertheless, I'm still going to turn it over to you anyway because you are the certified life coach here. So, Patty, take it away.
Okay. So Judy, I know you had said you sent me an email. We talked about what would be the main focus for today, and then the other follow-up question I had from that was, what would make you feel like it was a successful coaching session at the end of the call? What would be the result that you would want that would make you walk away and think, oh, okay, that really helped? So maybe you can answer both those questions.
So the first question is, what was the first question again?
Is what is the? I know I always do. I shouldn't have stacked my questions. Sorry about that. One of the main rules in coaching: don't stack your questions. But I just did it. So what would be kind of a main issue that you'd want to focus on today?
Well, the main issue that I want to focus on is my overeating and not being drawn to the 12-step program that is for Overeaters Anonymous. And I've tried it several times and it doesn't, I'm just not drawn to it, and I find that whenever I go, I cry at the end of the meeting, and I feel worse when I come out of a meeting than I did before the meeting started. So it puts me in an uneasy state. And the second question that you asked is what I would like to get out of it. And I would like to come out of it with a feeling of peacefulness with whatever I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling sad, lonely, hungry, tired, whatever that is, I'd like to be at peace with that.
Okay. And there was also, I recall in your email, a second part to that issue for you. Was that around some feelings you were having?
Oh, some feelings about overeating and
you had said it might stem from something else. You said there was something else it stemmed from.
It might stem from an inner emptiness, an inner lack of meaning or lack of purpose or loneliness.
Okay. And
or not being able to be alone with myself and be at peace in my home.
Okay. So you're not looking so much for a plan or a decision. You're looking at the end of this to feel peaceful.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So can you tell me a little tiny bit of background? You don't have to get too much into it, but of what you're feeling, I guess, now about the whole overeating thing, why that's even an issue for you, where that kind of like a little bit of background behind that piece and why that's so important
now to you. Because I probably had this tendency most of my life, but it's bothering me now more because I've gained 20 pounds in about 2 to 3 years. And it's a lot of weight. And I know that I don't like being compulsively eating, and it's just filling a hole in my soul that I want to be with. I want to be with those feelings without swallowing them, literally. And so I would like to be able to feel what I feel and not have to cover it up or not have to go to compulsion or addiction to kind of feel comfortable. I'd rather be with the discomfort than to be with the addiction.
Okay. So it's not so much the weight, it sounds like, that's as impactful to you as much as how you feel about the whole process.
Yes.
Okay. And is it, would it be so you're wanting to feel comfortable with the uncomfortableness is almost what I'm hearing you say.
That's well put.
Okay. Would another option be to not feel uncomfortable?
Sure.
Okay.
But I don't know how to get that.
Okay. All right. So, but the idea of feeling uncomfortable, I mean, as far as law of attraction goes, you don't necessarily need to feel comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Oh.
It can be something that instead of feeling comfortable with that, instead helping to raise your vibration in such a way that you're just not even feeling uncomfortable.
I would love to get that.
Okay. That sounds exciting.
Yes.
Okay. So what is it about, like, what are some of the precipitating triggers or thoughts or feelings you have before you start feeling a little like you need to overeat or eat compulsively, whatever that compulsive behavior is?
Well, it could be many, many different kinds of feelings. I could be tired. I could start with genuine hunger, but not stop eating because I get the cravings from the food itself. And so I continue on and on and on. Or it could be the feelings before, sometimes I could be happy, or I could have, something that happened that, makes me feel triumphant or celebratory, and then I would also eat. So a lot of it is habit also, because I go to food mostly in the afternoon or at night, and just automatic. There's not even a particular feeling that would perpetuate that. I think if I'm really feeling strongly very negative or very positive, it might not. I know a very negative feeling, I wouldn't necessarily go to food that much. If I feel really, really down or upset or low vibration, I wouldn't go for food as much as if it's sort of mediocre, ordinary feeling, or just ordinary, a little tired, a little
kind of bored.
Bored, yes, bored. That's another one. Forgot to mention that. Boredom is also, but there's plenty of things to do, people to meet, and places to go. And it usually happens in my, I have a lot of things to do, and I have a lot of interests, but it usually happens when I'm home alone and I get into this mode, and usually in the afternoon or in the evening, where I just can't get out of my own way. It's sort of blocked by this addiction.
Well, you're nodding your head like you've experienced that.
Oh God, yeah. Well, not so much. My situation hasn't been food disorder, but back before I met Louise, I was single and alone for about 20 years or so, and I went through that feeling that you just described, Judy, daily, every single day. In my own case, it didn't manifest in terms of overeating. In my case, it manifested in terms of being so shy I couldn't even go out in public. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter how it manifested. The point is, I know what that feels like. That's not a nice feeling place at all.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if you had also mentioned the loneliness piece. Can you bring that in and how that fits in with this?
Yeah, I'm not sure quite if I really know how, but I know that there's a big part of it, because when I have plans to go someplace with someone else, mainly, or do something with someone else, I don't overeat. I just get ready for the plans. But if I have time on my hands, and if I don't have a commitment to be someplace or be with someone, be joining someone for some activity, or be going to yoga, or be going to dance classes, or just someplace, if I don't have a commitment to be someplace, and if I have the free time, particularly in the afternoon or the evening, that's where I get into trouble, so to speak. That's the troublesome part. So having a plan is what helps me get out of it. Being out of the house for some reason, even if I just go walk on the beach, or just to go to a class or something, that helps me get over it. It's just like I have to get out of my own way. I just get so stuck in the house with food and craving more and more and more.
And so when you do give into that and eat or overeat in what you're describing, what does that do for you?
Well, it makes me tired. It makes me numb, and I feel a lot of shame around it. I feel as though, what's wrong with, there's something wrong with me. Why can't I be with my own company? Why can't I be east? Why do I have to keep eating? And so I ask these questions, but they're more rhetorical, because I don't really know the answers to them. I don't know what's going on within me that creates this anxiety of wanting to eat, or wanting to, I know it has something to do with loneliness, but I'm not sure what the trigger is.
And I got to say, one thing that really strikes me is that the overeating you're describing, when you do that, it really causes this sort of negative spiral for you. And I'm kind of wondering, what's so bad about eating a little bit? I guess
that's a great question.
Is it kind of like a self-nurturing thing where?
Yes, I think it is, and be a good and bad, good or bad. And in the afternoon, sometimes it just eases up. Like there's a time in the afternoon I could be overeating for maybe 2 hours, and then the time eases up, and so I no longer feel hungry. but sometimes it's really not a physical hunger that I'm
Right, it's more kind
eating.
of emotional eating. Hmm.
It's
But
emotional.
I guess what I'm saying is there ever a time when you do sort of indulge and eat a little bit based on your emotions and it's okay?
Never thought of allowing it. So you're saying allow it?
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
sort of
allow it.
asking. I mean, what's the worst thing what is it that, like, it feels like it's a really big, heavy, negative topic for you. And I'm not finding the part, I mean, it's not like you're shooting heroin, it's not, it's not that extreme. And so I guess I'm just wondering, is it just okay to do that? If it makes you maybe feel a little like you're nurturing yourself or it's enjoyable. I mean, is it
It
that
is up.
bad?
It is up to a point, but I'm concerned about the weight gain and also the fact that I know that I'm doing this for some psychological, emotional reason that is beyond my comprehension, and I know that there's something deeper that I have to work through, be able to feel peace. Because when I'm overeating, oh yeah, I'm feeling peace at the moment. I guess I am, because it sort of fades or numbs the anxiety that I feel. But you're asking a really good question, which I don't know the answer to at this point, but I really like the question to consider.
So what are some other things that help you to feel nurturing for yourself?
Massage would help, and going out to dinner instead of eating in my home. That's a good one. Or eating out. It keeps me from having to prepare all this food or hours of cooking or cutting up or cleaning, and so that's more nurturing to eat out, and then to eat with other people, even if it's in my home, and just to be around other people. Those
Because
things would
you're
help.
more of an extrovert, it sounds like.
I think my nature is an extrovert, though a shy extrovert. I think my
Mm-hmm.
nature would be because I get my energy being around people rather than being alone. So,
Mm-hmm.
although I do enjoy some feelings of solitude, but not in my home. Or sometimes in
Okay.
my home. Sometimes I do. But
So
I think that I
are there other things that you can do alone at home that are nurturing for you other than eating?
um I like to color dye, to fabric dye. Um and I like to create a well now I'm creating a wall of seashells to think about that. I like to study the stock market,
Wow.
and it's like that takes a little. Then I get mad at myself because I'm spending too much time online. But so I can beat up on myself for a lot of reasons
Well,
besides eating.
that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of kind of getting down on yourself for doing things that you find enjoyable, like you're judging them.
I'm judging them because I feel that well, it's spinning on the internet. The internet is very distracting to me, and I'll go from one thing to another but not get anything accomplished. I'll be looking and searching and researching, and then after spending 2 hours on the internet, I said, where did that go? Where did the time go? Feels peaceful at first, but then I realize that I'm just spinning my wheels and I'm not really accomplishing anything. So, be that a judgment, I don't know. I would like to use my time wisely and feel that it's productive when I'm doing the things that I don't have to be doing.
So, do you feel that enjoying yourself is productive? There's a benefit to just enjoying something?
That's a really good question. Yes, I do. I feel that enjoying myself is productive. although I don't, doesn't sound like I.
I know. See, well, so talk more about that. Tell me more about that.
Well, I guess I'm thinking back, and I'm thinking that whenever I have to do something, it has to be a form of, this is my past anyway, it has to be a form of earning money or a form of educating myself about something or a form of focus. But I don't think I've ever really spent that much time to nurture myself.
I have a
I
question for you,
think,
Judy. I have one question. My question is, what do you love about yourself?
well, that's that's a hard one to answer. But I think I like that I'm friendly and I like to have fun and I have a number of friends and wonderful friends and acquaintances, and I've gotten over my shyness pretty much in most situations tremendously. Made a lot of growth and progress in my own life as to where I started from. And I started out being very, very shy, and like you were saying, well, that you didn't want to go out socially. I didn't want to go out socially at all when
Hmm.
I was younger, and as an adult, a young adult, I didn't want to go out socially, and I was afraid of social situations. But now I love it. So that's what I like about myself: personal growth, and
Those are some pretty big accomplishments.
They are.
I mean, honestly, that's pretty huge.
Hmm.
thank you.
You know, being able to, it sounds like personal growth really is really a value of yours. And the idea that you can go from being shy to being less shy and going from being fearful of social situations to actually welcoming them
Mm,
is pretty incredible.
it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
It really is.
Uh, okay, can I ask a follow-up question? What's your passion in life?
My passion. Oh, gee. Well, I would like to, I don't know if you call this a passion or not, but I would just like to make stronger connections with people and be able to communicate in a way that is compassionate and is assertive and is easeful and what
So
are the words?
connecting with people.
And stronger closer connections, and being able to be in situations that were conflictual, but being able to handle them with ease and grace. Being in conflictual situations, close
So,
connection.
so
So
those are
I would,
things that sound to me like they're things about yourself that you value. But what makes you excited?
Good. Yes.
oh, wow. Well, I love to dance, and I have some obstacles in the way of learning, and I want to learn how to dance, and makes me very excited, and it's something that I love to do and want to do more of. And I would like to have break up my routine sometimes, do things differently, or do do my schedule because every day I get on the same schedule. It's a wonderful schedule. I go to yoga, and then I go to the Y, and then I do this, and I do this, and I play golf a little. But I want to do something that is more just shifts around the routine, and like maybe I want to go on a little vacation. that would be exciting for me. But it would also be out of my comfort zone. So,
That
or
makes it a
even
good
go on a
thing.
date. I haven't traveled in a long time. I used to love to travel, but I've been feeling blocked as far as traveling goes, as far as flying, as far as just getting out of my comfort zone. So I haven't even put that in my vortex about travel.
Well,
But
I'm sure it's there, even whether you did it consciously or not.
here.
Another way to ask the same
So,
question about the passion in your life is, what is it that you enjoy doing that when you know it's about to happen, whether it be first thing in the morning or in the middle of the day, it just lights you up and you're ready to go. You're just shooting out the door to go do it because that's a passion.
Mm. Well, I love to volunteer at Seaside, and so I do that, and that's a passion. And I dress up when I do it, and I dress up in costumes, and if there's a theme, and I love doing that, and I love getting all that attention. I've never gotten so much attention in my life.
I understand what you
you
mean.
have a
By the way, you
very,
mentioned dance, and I also wanted to mention to you that was my method for getting myself out of the house. When I was dealing with what I was dealing with, dance was my way. That was my ticket, and that's where I came out of my shell. And I actually became a pretty good dancer too, which was even more helpful. I was actually in demand as a leader, as a dance leader. But it was a wonderful way to turn an interest into a passion because dancing became a passion for me. I did it for over 10 years before I met my wife and did it for a few years afterward. And then we ended up moving to a place where the kinds of dance communities I wanted weren't around, so I couldn't do them anymore. But yeah, dance is a wonderful thing. Really, really good.
That's well, I should really invest in getting dance lessons, maybe even by myself. I mean,
Hmm.
because
yeah.
I put much investment in what I really want to do. Like, say I want to dance, but am I taking dance lessons? No, because they only offered at a certain time in a certain group and certain. But I'm thinking to myself that I really don't invest much in the passions that I really have. If dancing is a passion, there's a lot more that I could do to put more time and energy into it.
By the way, there's a
That's
big advantage to
wonderful.
taking classes. When you take classes, it doesn't matter whether or not the classes are something that you do regularly or just do occasionally, or if they're your most favorite thing or least favorite thing or somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter. The big advantage to taking classes is not only do you learn how to do the steps and routines and so forth, but you also meet dance partners. So when you go to the dance, you have dance partners automatically because everybody looks for the people that they know. Well, I know that person from dance class. That's the way it works.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's reason
So it has a
to classes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
real social component as well.
It is.
Great.
Good social opportunity
Yep.
there.
So, when you put all of this together, uh, is the overreading is it overeating? And is it a problem? Or is it just something that becomes this way where you're sort of getting a little down on yourself about doing something that is enjoyable? I mean, do you feel like that's something that is really a big issue for you, or is it that somehow it's become this issue because it's become a focus for you?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I think that the whole issue is very active now, maybe because putting focus on it, that maybe I'm looking at the scale and say, wow, I gained 20 pounds. I don't even want to weigh myself anymore. And I'm saying that it's a big issue because I make it a big issue. But most of my life, I didn't consider it a big issue. I mean, it was always dormant and there, but I didn't make it an issue in my life. But somehow now it's it's becoming, and then going to OA also, for some reason, that just did not feed my soul.
So is there any reason why you would ever need to go back to one of those meetings if it doesn't work for you?
That's a really good question too, because I kept trying and trying, and each time I went, it was like, oh my God, I got a sponsor now, and I tried that for a little while. So, yeah, there's no reason why I have to go back. There's no reason, because I gave it enough of a try. It doesn't speak to me, and I think as I started LOA, Law of Attraction, here with you, Patty, I came to realize I'm attracted to Law of Attraction. I'm not, I was feeling like it contradicted the OA meetings where they're focused on the problem and not the solution, or not the focus on what you don't want, not what you do want. Mm-hmm. And then I started looking at started going to other meetings around, and realizing it's a yes. Law of Attraction is what speaks to me, in the way they talk about source, in the way that they talk about putting your foot, and it's a whole new way of thinking for me. It's just brand new, and I know it's going to take a while to get over my previously negative thinking, because I would always be focused on what I don't want for so many years that trying to get focused on what I do want is a work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is it that Law of Attraction does for you, learning about it and using the concepts?
Well, learning about it, it really, well, for one thing, it gets me to realize how negative my thinking was, and how I created my own realities by focusing on what I didn't want. And even in the short time that I've been a part of LOA, I think that my focus has changed. My vibration has really lifted, and I think that there's a lot more incoming. I just think my relationships with people, my acceptance of my own flaws as well as others, is it's really amazing how my focus has changed, and how differently I accept myself and others. I know there's areas of my life where I need to, still positively focus on what I want. But I think I've changed tremendously since the Law of Attraction has come into my life.
And what do you want?
So, I want a healthy, vibrant life, which I have now. I want to increase my scope of friends and have friends of like-mindedness. I want to travel, even if it's for day trips, just to change my routine around. And I want to continue some of the things that I'm doing right now, like yoga and dancing, and I want to increase the dance lessons that I have, and the friendships. And the friendships that I do have, I want to make them deeper and richer.
And how do you want to feel in these areas?
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel like making a difference in their life, so I guess that would be, that's not a feeling, making a difference, but
maybe reward, fulfilled.
That. Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said maybe fulfilled, or like it's rewarding.
Fulfilled and rewarded and connected and having fun.
So when you're at home and you're feeling kind of bored, let me backtrack for just a second. When you are home and you're feeling those feelings, are you still feeling like the overeating that you're calling overeating is really a bad thing? Or are you feeling a little more like, well, not so horrible? Where are you at on the scale?
One feeling good and when I'm overeating, it doesn't seem as negative, the overeating, and I don't judge it as much if I'm feeling good. I think I judge it brutally if I'm feeling bad and if I'm in a low vibration to begin with, and then I judge my overeating. What's wrong with me? And I shouldn't be doing this. I feel ashamed, and all those feelings come up. But if I had a really good experience, I'm feeling good about myself, and I overeat, it doesn't seem to be as much of a problem, and I don't consider it like I don't have this big disease that overeat or not.
So what does that tell you?
So it tells me it's not so much about the overeating, it's more about how I judge myself.
Absolutely. That is a great insight.
It is.
That's a really great insight. So how, rather than judging yourself, how would you rather feel about yourself?
Well, I would rather feel like it's okay to have a big appetite. I eat mostly healthy foods, and I enjoy it, and I want to have those things that I talked about, and I want to nurture those passions in my life more, and just.
So I'm thinking in terms of feeling about yourself, how you want to feel about yourself. It sounds like you want to feel less judgmental and more accepting.
Yes, less judgmental and more accepting of myself, and allowing myself to. So what if I overeat once in a while? Not making it a big disease that I have to have some kind of focus on. Yeah, I want to not focus on that so much. That's what I was doing with the overeating. Wasn't focusing on it. Was not helping me to eat less at all. So I think my focus has to change.
Well, and I don't even, even just pivoting away from that focus onto thinking about, okay, how do I want to feel right now? And what can I do that's going to make me feel the most soothed? How can I soothe myself right now? So if you're in that place and you're at home and you're feeling like eating, or you're just bored and you want to do something, maybe there's even other things you might choose to do, that the goal being to nurture yourself.
Well, I could read a novel, which I haven't done for a very long time. I could read, but then when I read, I fall asleep. So,
well, that's not so bad sometimes, that nap kind of resets things, right?
It does. Then I get mad. Then I judge myself for if I fall asleep while I'm reading. So I say, what am I doing falling asleep?
So what's something you can say to yourself when you feel like getting mad at yourself or judging yourself? Like, oh, what did I do that for? What might be a different story you could tell or a statement you could say to yourself that would be more helpful to you to get into a higher vibration?
I would think that I could think to myself, so what? I ate a little bit more food than I would have liked to. So what's the big deal? It's not going to kill me. I'm not, I don't have the overweight diseases that I have to worry about. And I guess to be more forgiving of myself, like to say, well, okay, I had a little bit too much to eat, but that's okay. I'm still fine. I'm still healthy. I'm still have energy in the daytime at least. And I do a lot. And there's things that I enjoy doing by myself alone, but it has to be outside of my house. So I could start doing something inside that would suit me, because it's so mainly when I'm indoors in my house alone in the afternoon or at night.
So, okay, those are all good things. If you were to think of something you could do in your house, let's say you were going to come up with a list of a few things. One you mentioned was a novel, reading a novel. Another you had said dancing. I'm wondering if you could just dance around your house, if that would help you feel good.
I don't have enough space, but that would be a good one. I don't have the space, but
You can even dance in place, right where you're standing.
yeah,
Turn on some music. I'm just kind of trying to think of, sometimes it is better just to get out of the house. I agree. There's something about being out in nature and just being out of that space. If you're kind of in a bad space where you're at, just changing it up any old way can be helpful. And when you can just get out of the house, that's great.
It's a rainy day, and if I don't have an appointment to go someplace or be someplace at a certain time, and I get into that overeating mode, as I call it.
So what can we call that other than the overeating mode? Let's give that another name.
Being like a positive name, or just
something that isn't so hard on you, that doesn't make it to be such a problem.
Okay, so I can call it the
not quite feeling good mode, the I'm bored mode, the I'm restless and kind of itchy mode. I mean, what would you call that?
I could call it halt, which is hungry, angry. Well, I'm not usually angry, at least not to my knowledge.
Right. Right.
Hungry, angry, tired, and what's before tired?
Lonely.
L stands for
Lonely.
Oh, of course.
Okay. So why don't we call it the what could we do if you add in bored instead of angry?
Oh yeah, HBL.
Hubble. What's it called?
It's an HBLT. It's a food.
HBLT. Yeah. HBLT. It's a hungry BLT.
Yes. Hungry BLT.
Or it's a just want to feel a little better mode.
Oh.
I wouldn't even name it the problem. I'd name what do you want?
Oh. Yeah, so increasing vibration.
Mm-hmm.
I want to raise my vibration mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Raising vibration mode.
Okay. So that's kind of what you're hoping for. Because it sounds like when you're just feeling kind of we're not looking at the problem, we're looking at the solution. The solution is, or the result that you want is to raise your vibration and not feel that way, correct? Or to soothe yourself in some way that you can raise your vibration. Does that sound accurate?
That sounds accurate.
So,
soothing mode.
Self-soothing mode.
Self-soothing mode.
Or raising your vibration through self-soothing mode. However that happens to be. And you've already mentioned a number of the things that you do that help you with that.
Yes.
Some things that you can do where you just leave the house, just get up and leave if it's being that's bugging you.
It's being in the house that bugs me, and if it's a nice day, I can get on the golf course if it's before dark, of course. And I can take a walk. I have friends in my neighborhood that I walk with. I can take a walk with a friend, and that usually lifts my vibration. And what's that?
Does getting on the phone and talking to somebody ever make you feel better?
That too, yes.
So that you can do anytime.
Yes, that's something I often do when I get into that mode. But sometimes I'm eating at the same time that I'm talking. That's not a very good mode.
Oh well.
I just have to not talk. Also, not eat when I'm talking on the phone.
Or perhaps just enjoy the phone call so much you don't even think about eating.
Right.
Or sometimes it's really good to get things done that I've been avoiding to do. like a
So,
certain.
so there's a little trick I play with myself sometimes with that type of thing. So I tend to be a procrastinator. And if I have something that I really need to do, like let's say file my all my papers or something that I'm avoiding doing, I find that that's when I clean my house or do something else. So you still get something productive done,
Oh, I do
but
that too.
it's like you're
It's
tricking
like with,
yourself. Like I'm not doing the thing I don't want to do, but I'm going to do all these other things instead, just in avoidance mode. But then it ends up being productive in the long run.
that happens
That's how the dishes
so
get done in my
often.
house.
Exactly. Me
When
too.
I'm avoiding something, I do something else that I don't want to do. It's almost like the path of least resistance. Would you call
Yes.
that?
I think
Yeah.
that's a great, yep, yep. It's like, I really don't want to do this, so I'm going to do this. Because this really sounds, you know, I feel
Yes,
less resistant to doing this than to doing that. And even doing the less resistant thing gets something done.
that's right. That's right. Good idea.
So what is all this feeling like to you right now?
Well, it feels really good to be able to have spoken about it and have received your feedback and to look at it in a new way because it's all in my consciousness and to have you listen to me and to have you give me feedback is really, really helpful, and I feel really good about that. And I think that if it just helps me get out of my own way because my thinking, my inner thinking, if I don't share it or expose it as I did here, it keeps going around and around and around, and I don't get out of that spinning mode. So has really helped me.
It's funny how sometimes just saying stuff out loud and hearing yourself talk
Mm.
can be helpful. Because sometimes things are in our head swirling around, going in circles, and we don't even realize how our thoughts are going or what it's doing to us until we say it out loud. And then you hear your voice and you're like, oh. It'll be interesting to see too, Judy, once you listen back to this recording later, if you feel like you've gleaned some different information even than what you're hearing now.
And I do look forward to hearing that because I have to hear it again and again and again sometimes before it just integrates and goes into my consciousness because it's many, many years of having to change that consciousness, to shift that consciousness to a new
But the good
vibration.
news is, if you listen to what Abraham says, the past is the past, and whatever you're experiencing right now can almost erase the past. It's just your new reality. And the past doesn't even have to have a bearing on it. Does that make sense?
Lives.
So are you feeling any stuck points or resistance about any of this or any yes buts?
Well, I do want to ask you about what we just covered about the past is in Abraham's of the past. Can we use the past for contrast or saying, well, look where I was then and look where I am now, and gee, I've made a lot of progress, and that
And a
makes
way
me
to feel
feel
appreciate. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
That's really being in appreciation mode,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
which is always a good thing.
yes,
Because appreciating what you have done and how you feel compared to how you were before, how you felt before, is going to bring more of those better feelings. More of those will be attracted and drawn to you. So it's like an upward momentum. So the more positive you feel, the more you can look at those things that you did before, but think, wow, I have come so far. Look where I'm at now. And then really get into the feelings of how you're feeling now, the good feelings that you have whenever they appear. will draw more good feeling thoughts and just begin that upward momentum.
Yes.
Are there any other parts to this that are feeling not like they're not resonating, or you didn't get the answer, or aren't somehow working for you or making you doubt in any
Well,
way?
I guess having to unlearn a lot of what I learned before about, the overeating or just dealing with that pain body, I guess.
Dealing with the what?
The pain body, as it's been called in like with Eckhart Tolle or something. So when I feel that uneasy feeling and it feels like when I'm in that state, it's like I can't get anything done that I need to get done, and it's just not a space to feeling or mood to make decisions in. Is that
So
right?
you're saying when you're in a low vibration is what you're referring to?
Yes, low vibration.
Any kind of low vibration, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that is definitely not, that's the time when you pull back and get general. So you don't want to be, when you're in that low vibration, kind of give yourself a break, kind of think, or what are ways that I can just make it, be more accepting of myself and more loving towards myself. And what are ways that I can focus on the things that are very general that I know to be true, such as, I know overall I'm getting better at this. And I know that the universe is really there for me. And I do believe that this is getting better and it's going to continue to get better. And I really do have a lot of strengths and things that I'm really good at. I may not be perfect at everything. I may fall down from time to time, but all that's doing is creating more contrast, which is going to give me more desires in my vortex. So I think as much as you can be just loving towards yourself when you're feeling in that low vibration.
Yeah. That's
the key. Like you would with a little kid. Like she talks about the little kid that is trying to learn to walk and he falls down and you don't yell at him and say, "Get up, you little dummy." That's one of her phrases that she always uses. Like who would do that? No one's going to do that. So you just know that kid's learning and, oh, well, he fell down and he gets back up and he keeps going. So it's the same with all of us. It's not like we get to the point where we don't have any contrast. It's not, it's not like we get to the point where we're always in a high vibration, but it sure is nice to be on that upward trend towards practicing it and getting better at it and having more time that we really are in that higher vibration.
I would pile on with that one too by saying that when you're looking to do this, don't just do it when you're feeling low. Do it when you're feeling good too, because it makes it easier to develop the habit that way. If you only do it when you're feeling low, then it's going to turn into a chore. But if you also spend time, rewarding yourself and patting yourself on the back and telling yourself all the good things that you're doing in your life and giving yourself all of the strokes and the kudos that you deserve and doing it when you're feeling good, it will even catch on better. It will stick with you better so that you'll actually have fewer instances where you're feeling down because you've already got the bulwark in place to prevent it.
Absolutely.
And that, I feel that is happening now. And thank you for reminding me about that because I feel like I'm much more in a higher feeling place most of the time.
Good.
Since I've been doing yellow law of attraction than I was before doing law of attraction.
So you're already getting practiced at it.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah.
I think that's a great point. And when you are in that higher vibration, in addition to that, that's when you're feeling really, tuned in. What does she call it? Tuned in, tapped in, tuned in, whatever.
And turned on.
So when you're feeling really good, basically, that's really the time to focus specifically on what you want. So the more then you can get into details of what it is you're really wanting to have and really milk those good feelings, like Walt was talking about.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably the time to put it on my calendar to do something.
Yeah.
make it a point.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on a to-do list.
That's called taking
Example.
inspired action. That because you're inspired when you're feeling good, so you're taking inspired action. That's great.
Yep.
Yes, inspired action.
And that is the best time to take action, when you are feeling inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Really
Okay.
makes a
So
lot of
are
sense.
you feeling a little more peaceful about this whole situation like you were hoping for at the beginning of the call?
Oh, much more so. A great deal more so.
And what do you think you're going to change moving forward?
Well, I think I'm going to change, one, the way I look at overeating, and
I would banish that word from your vocabulary. Honestly, I would just don't even let it come out of your mouth.
okay. Okay.
That's
I
just my
wouldn't
2
be.
cents.
I think I would focus more on the strengths that I have, and that I can get out in this area. And there's so many things to do and places to go, and I don't have to be stuck in my place. And I could be out there enjoying life as I am doing a good part of the time.
And when you're
I
in
don't-
that low place, think about what's just going to make me feel a little happier right now. What can I do that's just going to make me feel a little happier?
one level higher, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Higher. Yes.
A baby step.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you want a little extra to do, you might also, if you have a moment, take some time to go to the website of the podcast, loatoday-net. And if you do it, especially on a desktop or a laptop where you can see full screen, first of all, you have to click through to the main homepage from the links page. But once you get to the main homepage, over on the right are all the categories of different podcasts we've done. Look up the ones under Wendy Dillard, because Wendy also has a lifelong issue with body weight. And she and I were doing podcasts together from last November through September. A significant number of them, particularly the later ones, look for the descriptions that include references to Project Body. That was literally a project she took on of basically addressing her relationship with her body. And some of them will have some insights that I think you'll find really, really helpful in terms of just feeling better about yourself and feeling better about your body.
Thank you. Well, that's great. Yes. I have to keep being in the mode of hearing that. And
Mm-hmm.
you.
Cool. Well, thanks, Judy.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
You did good. You did good.
You did great.
Hey, I wanted to put out there that if there are other listeners who want to do one of these coaching sessions, that they can contact me and we can do it on our guest. Or
Yeah.
I can just do regular coaching with them as well.
And then how do they reach
So they
you?
would just email. Oh, yeah. So Patty at pattyframocoaching.com.
There it is.
PattyFramo.
All
There
right.
you go.
And also a reminder to people who are not yet subscribers, what are you waiting for? Become a subscriber, because when you subscribe, you get all the podcasts coming right to your smartphone or device, whatever you're using to listen to this right now, and they come streaming in automatically, so you can just go grab them, and you can binge listen even if you need to pick yourself up for a Saturday afternoon or something. So please become a subscriber and listen to all the episodes so you can get your daily dose of happy over and over and over and over again. And then share the fact that you've been doing it on your favorite social media channels, whichever one you happen to use. Just keep putting out there every time you listen. Hey, I was just listening to loatoday.net. They were talking about this and I found it great. Or whatever it is you want to say. Hopefully you're going to say something good. I really hope it's something positive, but say something. Tell people that you're listening, because that's how the word gets around. And Judy, I want to echo what Patty said. Thank you so much for coming on the program and being willing to open up. It's not an easy thing to do in a public forum, but you did, and we're really grateful that you did that.
Well, thank you very much. And I really appreciate your help and your coaching, and it's made a big difference. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And Patty, thank you. You led that brilliantly as always. And
Well, I love your 2 cents that you're always throwing in there. You got a lot of great insights.
It's a lot of fun, that's for sure. And I look forward to doing it again with you next week, when I'm not sure who we're going to bring on or what we're going to be talking about, but we're going to do it again next week for sure. All right. And we hope that all of our listeners come back next time as well here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.